गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतान् शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्म उपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्यां मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मेस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। Dear friends, we are in this second mantra of the second part of Kenopanishad. The first mantra was talking about the teacher expressing some sort of doubt at the way in which the student has understood the Brahmajnana, understood Brahman. So he was saying in the first mantra, the teacher was actually trying to shake the student and then see as to how far the student has properly understood the Brahman. And then he said, if you have known at the Adhyatma level, whatever you have known at the body-mind complex level, if you have known something, that is something which is Alpam. And if you have visualized something at the Adidaivata, Athatvam Athanu Deveshu, Yadasyatvam Yadasya Deveshu, that was the mantra. Yadasyatvam, Tvam, at your Adhyatma level, whatever you have known, that again is Dabhram or Daharam, it is Alpam. And then what you have known at the Adhidaivata level, that is also Alpam. So whatever you have visualized as some sort of God form, etc., etc., even that is very Alpam and that is not Brahman. So that is what he said. And then after that the student went home, he sat in solitude and all that. So we read all that in the last class. And then he did some more Shravanam, Manana, Nididhyasana, and then he came with a very, very firm conclusion, very, very firm understanding. And then that understanding is such, the understanding is also so peculiar that a person cannot say, I know Brahman. When I say, I know Brahman, when I bring in this thing called I, then I am distancing myself from Brahman. I am separating myself from Brahman. And I am actually delimiting that Brahman, and I am standing out from that Brahman. So I can't say I know Brahman, nor I can say I do not know Brahman, nor can I keep quiet. So that is the predicament. So in such a predicament, the student is saying, Naham manye suvedeti. So in sort of paradoxical statement, this mantra and also the following mantra, they are basically paradoxical statements which we have to, every word we have to properly see and then understand. Naham manye suvedeti. I explained this mantra in the last class. That is, aham brahma suveda iti na manye. That is, I don't think that I know Brahman very well. What does it mean? I don't think I don't look at Brahman as an object of my knowledge. So that is why we have to substitute some words. When the Shruti talks in paradoxical statements, if we stop with the literal meaning is so paradoxical you can't know anything. The literal meaning is, I think I know not Brahman, nor do I think it is unknown, but I know. So what does it mean? So we have to substitute some words. So whatever the first part means, I don't think I know Brahman as an object of my knowledge, and no navedeti, and not that I do not know at all. I know that it is my own nature. I know that it is my own nature, my own swarupa. Jnana swarupa. Jnanam, when I say I know something, I am making that knowledge as an object, isn't it? I am objectifying it. But if I am a Jnana Swarupa myself, then that is a different situation. So that is a different status altogether. So that is the second thing. No navedeti. Veda cha means I know also. And the word cha also says, Shankaracharya suggests, Veda cha iti shabdat na veda cha. I also know, I know not. So that is how he is saying. Yo naha tadveda tadveda. Yo naha tadveda. That is, yo naha, the one who among us, he who is among us, he who knows what I say. He who knows what I say means, that is, the Brahman is something which cannot be objectified. That is what he has been saying. So he who knows, the one among us all, he is referring to the fellow students probably. We have to imagine probably. Yo nas tadveda tadveda. That is, probably he is visualizing the students in the same classroom or something like that. So he among us who knows what I am saying. What is it you are saying? That the Brahman is something which cannot be objectified. One who knows that, tad veda, he knows Brahman. No na vedeti vedacha. Not that he does not know, but he knows also. Not that he does not know, he knows also. This word veda, I was telling you, it can be used both in the first person and also in the third person. So this is the thing which we read in the last class. And we also read the first line of the Bhashyam, that is, Naham manye suvedeti, naivaham manye suveda brahmeti. The same thing we read up to this. Vedacha iti shabdat na vedacha. We read up to that point. So we have to read the next line. Nanu vipratishidham naham manye suveda iti no naveda iti vedacha iti. Okay. So the question, the teacher again is questioning. Nanu, okay, you are saying, okay, I know, I do not know, etc., etc. Are you not contradicting yourself? Vipratishidham. Vipratishidham is something which is self-contradicting. Vipratishidham. Vipratishidham. Na aham manye suveda. I do not know it very well. Whereas the student's idea is, Naham manye suveda means suveda. When I say suveda, it means that I am objectifying it. I am knowing it as an object. Only an object can be suveda. Only an object can be suvedyam rather. An object can be very well known by the intellect. So here, Naham manye suveda iti you are saying, no naveda iti, and you are also saying, I do not know. And then vedacha iti. Is it not self-contradictory that what you are saying? This is the question by, it is not a Purvapaksha. Whenever Nanu is there, it is not a Purvapaksha. We have to see the context. In this context, it is the teacher who is questioning. Arey, you are saying like this, you are saying that you know, you are saying that you not know, you do not know. So, the teacher's words. Then, yadi namanyase suveda iti, katham manyase vedacha iti. Okay, if you think, yadi namanyase suveda iti, if you think that you do not know it very well, suveda means very well, known very well. Yadi namanyase suveda iti, if you think that you do not know it so very well, then katham manyase vedacha iti, then how are you saying that, how are you thinking rather, how are you thinking that it is very well known? How are you thinking, or how are you presuming that, or how are you claiming that you know it quite well? Then atha manyase vedaiva iti katham na manyase suveda iti. Okay, if you think that you know it, then what is it that is hindering you from knowing it so well? If you think that you know it, you can as well know it completely, isn't it? So atha manyase, atha means, or in other case, manyase veda eva iti. Veda eva means veda eva. If you think that you know it, katham na manyase suveda iti. Why is it that you think that you don't know it quite well? When you know something, you can as well know it quite well. Why don't you say like that? Ekam vastu yena jnayate tenaiva tadeva vastu na suvijñāyate iti vipratishiddham samshaya viparyayau varjayitva. Okay, ekam vastu yena jnayate. Ekam vastu, one particular object, yena jnayate, by which it is known. By whom it is known. Yena jnayate, an object when it is known by someone. An object when it is known by someone. Tenaiva vastu, tadeva vastu, na suvijñāyate iti. When you are on one hand saying that somebody knows an object, And again you are saying that somebody does not know the same object, the same person does not know the same object. Is it not self-contradictory? So that is it. Ekam vastu yena jnayate tenaiva, by the same person. A thing which is known by a particular person, by the same person, how do you say that it is not well known also? Tenaiva tadeva vastu means the same object, na subhijnayate, it is not very well known. Iti vipratishiddham, it is something which is contradicting. Samshaya viparyayav varjayitva. Samshaya viparyayav varjayitva means unless it is a case of doubtful understanding or it is a case of totally erroneous understanding. Unless it is a case of totally, say, samshaya. Samshaya we know. Samshaya means doubt. Viparyaya means understanding it in a totally different way. I say yes, you understand it as no. That is what is viparyaya. Samshaya viparyaya varjayitva. So unless it is a case of, say, understanding it in a totally doubtful way or in a totally opposite way, you cannot say that a person who knows something, he also does not know. Isn't it? Is it clear? Sentence is looks complicated, but we have to see a fairly long sentence. So unless it is a case of a wrong understanding or unless it is a case of doubtful understanding, an object which is known by a particular person, you cannot say that it is also not known by the same person. When once a person knows an object, you cannot say that he does not know it also. So that is the meaning. Nacha Brahma samshayitatvena jneyam viparitattvena va iti niyantum shakyam. Okay, you can't also make a rule that Brahma is something which has to be known in a rather confused manner, in a rather doubtful manner. There is no such rule and you can't make such a rule. You see, Nacha Brahma samshayitatvena, that which has to be, say, doubted, whose existence has to be doubted, whose presence has to be doubted. So that sort, in that manner, you can't make a rule. Ite niyantum shakyam. Niyantum shakyam means it cannot be mandated like that. You can't make a rule like that. You can't make a sort of niyamanam. Niyamanam is ordering. You can't order like that. How? Nacha Brahma samshayitatvena jneyam. That is, a Brahma is something which is an object which cannot be known by anybody. You can only know it doubtfully. You can't make such a rule. Because certainly all the Vedas, they say that jneyam, Brahma is definitely jneyam. Brahma is definitely to be known. It has to be known. That is what they say, that is the ultimate objective for human beings. That is the ultimate purushartha. So when that is so, you can't say that Brahma samshayitatvena jneyam. It is not to be known something as an object, a sort of doubtful thing. Or viparitatvena jneyam. That is, you can't make a rule that you have to know it in the totally opposite way. You have to know it. If it is X, if it is yes, it should not be understood as Y. You can't make a rule. You have to understand it as Y. You can't make such a rule. You can't make such a rule that if Brahma is yes, you have to understand it as no. You can't make such a rule. Is the line clear? Samshayitatvena viparitatvena va iti niyantum shakyam. You can't mandate it that Brahman is something which has to be understood in a totally as a sort of doubtful entity, or it has to be totally erroneously understood or wrongly understood, or understood in the totally opposite way. Then samshaya viparyayauhi sarvatra anarthakaratvenaiva prasiddhau. So in any type of knowledge, samshaya is something which has to be rejected, viparita is something which has to be rejected, isn't it? When even in the case of ordinary knowledge, when I see something, I can't have a doubt whether I am seeing a pen or whether I am seeing something else. I should have a clear knowledge. Samshaya. Viparyaya means this pen should not be understood as something else, a sword or something like that. So that samshaya knowledge I have to reject. Viparyaya knowledge also I have to reject. So samshaya viparyayau he means yasmad sarvatra anarthakaratvenaiva prasiddhau. It is very well known. It is very well known that this samshaya and viparyaya are really counterproductive. Anarthakari. Anartham is very counterproductive. Anartham. Something which is calamitous. Calamitous of course may not be a word here. Counterproductive, let us say. samshaya and viparyaya are not conducive for proper knowledge. They are actually counterproductive for proper understanding of a thing. Then let us read. Evam acharyena vichalyamanopi शिष्यः न विचचाल अन्यदेव तद् विदितात् अथो अविदिताद् अधि अधि इति आचार्योक्त आगम संप्रदाय बलात् उपपत्ति अनुभव बलाच्च जगर्ज च. Okay, we'll stop it here. Upapatti anubhava balacha. We'll stop it. Evam, in this manner, acharyena vichalyamanaha api. Though the man is being shaken, being say the man is actually, it is as though the person is holding him by the shoulder and then shaking him vigorously. So he is intellectually being shaken. So you are saying you know it. You are saying you do not know this. How can you say this? Unless it is a question of doubtful say existence, or unless it has to be something, it is something which has to be understood wrongly. So the teacher tried to confuse this student in several ways. But then evam vichalyamanopi, though the shishya is being shaken in this manner by the teacher, shishyaha na vichachala, he did not move, he did not shake. He did not shake, he was standing firm. Standing firm means his understanding was clear. His understanding was clear because earlier he had told about anyadeva tadviditad atho aviditad adhi. So we spent a long time to understand this line. Anyadeva tadviditad atho aviditad adhi. So this is viditad adhi, aviditad adhi. This is something which is apart from what is known, and this is also something apart from what is not known. So this we discussed earlier, very lengthily. Viditam again is alpam. Aviditam is anyway, they say it is unknown. So Brahman is something which is neither vidita nor avidita. That means it is something which has to be known. It is not that it does not exist. It exists. It exists. Then who is it? The knower himself. We also saw that you can't see it as an object. It is not unknown also. Then what is it that remains? Parisheshyat. We saw that word parisheshyat. Parisheshya means by excluding all things. Parishesha nyaya is where you exclude all other things. Then what remains? What remains is the knower himself. The knower himself is Brahman. That is what we saw there. So there, with that statement, this man has done some meditation. Meditation means manana, not in the sense of meditation, not in the ordinary sense of meditation, taking a japamala and then doing some japam and whatnot. Manana. He thought on that. Yuktibhihi vichariya. In the last class we saw that. In the last class we saw agamam arthato vichariya tarkatasya nirdharya. So he understood, he grasped the meaning of the Upanishadic lines properly. Then tarka, he also employed logic. He employed logic and then Yuktibhi anuchintanam mananam. We discussed, I told in the last class also, mananam is to employ tarka, to employ logic in order to substantiate, in order to validate, in order to strengthen what you know, and then in order to stand firm in what you know. Number one is you have to understand it, you have to shake it properly. Sthuna nikhadanam, you have to shake it properly, you have to use logic and then firmly establish what you know, and then firmly be in that understanding. So that is what is nididhyasana. Nididhyasana means to internalize, to assimilate, and then to be that. You have only heard about that, now you have to be that. So that is, knowing is becoming, isn't it? In Vedanta, knowing is becoming. So you have to be that. Be that means you have to do that nididhyasana. Nididhyasana is the process of being Brahman, isn't it? So he has undergone all that rigorous thing for quite some time. Acharyoktam agama sampradaya balat. Agama means scripture. Agama is actually the Vedic sentences. This particular sentence, anyadeva tadviditad, etc., etc. Then sampradaya balat. This is something iti shushrumavya purvesham. This is something which has been handed down. Sampradaya balat. Upapatti anubhava balacha. Upapatti means understanding. Upapatti, understanding. Anubhava balachya, anubhava, he has also brought it into his experience. He has also brought it into his own experience. Then, jagarjacha.
Jagarjacha.
Oh, okay, we have to read this. Jagarjacha,
Jagarjacha.
Brahma Vidyayam,
Brahma Vidyayam.
Drudha Nishchayatam Darshayan Atmanaha.
Drudha Nishchayan.
Nishchayatam Darshayan Atmanaha.
Drudha Nishchayatam Darshayan Atmanaha.
Is the mic okay? Mic? Mic okay, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Jagarjacha. Jagarja means literal meaning of Garjanam. The Garjana is Simha Garjanam. That is a roaring of a lion. Roaring. It is not as though this student roared or anything like that. It only we have to take a figurative meaning. That is, he very firmly told. He was not shaken, though he was being shaken by the teacher, and very clearly, very firmly told that Jagarjacha Brahma Vidyayam Drudha Nishchayatam Darshayan Atmanaha. Atmanaha Drudha Nishchayatam Darshayan. So showing or demonstrating, Darshayan means demonstrating his firm understanding of the Vedic line. Demonstrating his very firm understanding of the Vedic statement. Then Katham Ityuchyate.
Katham Ityuchyate.
Yo yaha kaschit.
Yo yaha kaschit.
Naha asmakam sabrahmacharinam madhye.
Naha asmakam sabrahmacharinam madhye.
Tat maduktam vachanam.
Tat maduktam vachanam.
Tatvato veda.
Tatvato veda.
Sa tad brahma veda.
Sa tad brahma veda.
Okay. So Katham, how that is being said. Yo yaha kaschit. Yaha means yah kaschit. Whoever. Naha asmakam. Whoever among us. Sabrahmacharinam madhye. Sabrahmachari means fellow student. Brahmachari is a student. Brahmachari, we should not take it as unmarried person or bachelor. Sabrahmachari is fellow students. Among the fellow students, tat maduktam vachanam tatvataha veda. That which has been told by me, if he knows, whoever among us knows what I said, that is, naham manyesu veda, etc., etc., no navedeti vedacha, etc., if he knows the meaning of what I said, he knows Brahman. Yo naha tadveda, tat maduktam vachanam tatvato veda. Tatvataha means really, the essence of it. Tatvataha, truthfully, really, if he knows that, sa tad brahma veda, he knows that particular, that Brahman. So that is the meaning. What is that? What is it that you have said? So that is again the question. Kim punaha tad vachanam?
Kim punaha tad vachanam?
Ityata aha.
Ityata aha.
No navedeti.
No navedeti.
Vedacha iti.
Vedacha iti.
Okay. Kim punas tad vachanam? What is it that you told? So the student is saying, whoever among us understands what I said, he understands Brahman. So that is what he said. What is it that you said? So that is what is the question. Kim punaha tad vachanam? What is it that you said? Ityataha. For that he said, it is being said, it is told, no navedeti vedacha iti. Not that I do not know, and vedacha iti, I also know. So that is it. Yadeva, that is being explained. What exactly is that? How is it? How is it? He is reconciling it with the earlier Anyadeva tadvidita dato avidita dadhi. He is trying to reconcile with that. Yadeva, Anyadeva tadviditad, atho aviditad adhi. Adhi is above, super. Adhi means above, it transcends. Aviditad adhi, it transcends the known, it transcends the unknown. Adhi ityuktam, tadeva vastu, anumana anubhavabhyam, sanyojya nishchitam, sanyojya nishchitam vakyantarena, no naveda iti, vedacha iti avochat, avochat, acharya buddhi samvadartham, manda buddhi grahana vyapohartham cha. Okay, fine. Okay, what is it? What is it that you said, which the other student, fellow student is expected to know? That is, yadeva, the same, that is, Anyadeva tadviditad atho aviditadadhi ityuktam. So that is being say reconciled with this no navedeti vedacha iti. So you see this earlier statement, naham manye suvedeti. What does it mean? That is, it is something which is viditad anyat. When I know something suveda, when I know something very well, it is viditam. Naham manye suveda, when I say I do not know it quite well, it is something which is beyond vidita. It is viditad anyat, isn't it? When I say I know something, it is viditam. When I say I do not know, so I do not know quite well, it is viditad adhi, viditad anyat. It is other than what is viditam. Then when I say no naveda, not that I do not know at all, not that I do not know at all, that is something which is aviditad anyat. Aviditam is something which is totally not known. When I say no naveda, when I say I do not, not that I do not know, I know it. So it is also aviditad anyat. So that is how it is being reconciled. No navedeti vedacha iti, it is the same as anyadeva tadviditad atho aviditad adhi. So that is the same thing, it is uktam. Tadeva vastu anumana anubhavabhyam sanyojya. So he is not satisfied with the intellectual meaning of that word, intellectual level of understanding. He is not satisfied with that understanding at an intellectual level. He has also confirmed it, consolidated it by anumana and anubhava. Anumana anubhavabhyam. Anumana means tarka. Anumana, it is not any doubt or anything. Anumana does not mean doubt. Anumana is one of the pramanas in Tarka Shastra. And in fact, Anumana is treated as the topmost or rather most favored pramana by the Tarkikas. Even if they see an object in front, they want to derive it by a pramana, by an anumana. So there is a saying, pratyakshamapi vastu anumanena bubhutsanti tarkarasikaha. So something like that, there is a statement. So the people who revel in Tarka Shastra is a sort of intoxicating subject for them. For somebody, Vedanta may be intoxicating. For someone else, mathematics may be intoxicating. For someone else, something else may be intoxicating. For our politicians, politics is intoxicating. For a Tarka Pandita, Tarka Shastram is so intoxicating. And then out of that, Anumana Pramana is so intoxicating to him that everything he wants to derive, by everything he wants to prove by means of this Anumana Pramana. So Anumana here refers to this Tarka Shastra. So Anumana Anubhavabhyam, Anubhava, he has also brought it into his own experience. So something which is not an object of knowledge and something which is not totally unknown, then what is it that is remaining? The remaining is only knower. So that is that Jnana Swarupa. So he has brought it into his understanding. Sanyojya Nishchitam. Sanyojya means having applied it. He has applied both Anumana and Anubhava. Sanyojya. Sanyojya means he has actually Sanyojana means to mix, to merge, to mix. So mixing Anumana and Anubhava means joined. He joined this, or with the support of Anumana and let us say with the support of both Anumana and Anubhava, Nishchitam Vakyantarena. Nishchitam means whatever has been decided, whatever has been very clearly understood. That Vakyantarena, in other words, he is saying, whatever is told in this word or in this sentence, Anyadeva tadviditad atho aviditad, etc., Vakyantarena means in a slightly different Vakya, in a slightly different statement. The same thing he is telling in a different statement. So that is what is Vakyantarena. In some other manner, in some other words, he is saying Vakyantarena, no navedeti vedacha iti avochat. He just said, no naveda iti vedacha iti avochat. How, why? Acharya buddhi samvadartham. That is, coinciding with, agreeing with the idea of the Acharya also. The idea of Acharya also is the same, isn't it? Acharya himself said it is something which is not viditam, something which is not aviditam, it is beyond both. So the student is agreeing with that idea. Acharya Buddhi. Acharya Buddhi means whatever has been that is there in the Acharya's mind. Acharya Buddhi Samvadartham. Samvada means, we know the word Samvada. Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvade. Gita iti Bhagavad Gita Upanishadsu Krishna Arjuna Samvade so and so adhyaya etc. we read. What is Samvada? Samvada is a sort of discussion between a teacher and a student where there is no say unnecessary argumentation. The student is not there to find fault with the teacher. The student, if his motive is to find fault with the teacher or disprove the teacher, that is Vivada. Samvada is different from Vivada. So Samvada, Sam is an Upasarga, Vi is another Upasarga. Vivada is disputing. Samvada is he is trying to understand. So Krishna Arjuna Samvada means Krishna and Arjuna, they are having a discussion. Arjuna is a student, he is listening to Krishna, listening to what Krishna says, he is trying to understand. He is questioning Krishna in order to further understand, not to dispute him, but to understand him quite well. So that is what is a Samvada. So here Acharya Buddhi Samvadartham, in order to agreeing with the idea, agreeing with what the teacher has told. And Manda Buddhi Grahana Vyapohartham cha. So that Vyapohanam is excluding. Vyapohanam. That is, in order to exclude that it is something which is known to Manda Buddhi. So this man, what the student is doing here is, he has made a statement, no navedeti vedacha. He has told in such a manner, basically agreeing with what the teacher has said. In order to agree with what the teacher has said, and also what this man said is so paradoxical, it is something which is not understood by a Manda Buddhi. He made a very paradoxical statement which is not understood by a Manda Buddhi. Manda Buddhi is a dull-witted man. A dull-witted man cannot understand this statement. So, yonas tadveda, no navedeti vedacha. So, this statement, naham manyesu vedeti, this is a statement he made in agreement with what the teacher had said earlier. In agreement with what the teacher had said when he said, what is that? Anya deva tadviditat, atho aviditadadhi. So, that is what the teacher said. And then the student, in agreement with that, is saying this thing, naham manyesu vedeti, etc. And then he told in such a paradoxical manner, basically to exclude the Manda Buddhi. Manda Buddhi grahana vyapohartham cha. And also to exclude the possibility of, it can also mean two ways. It basically to exclude the Manda Buddhi, dull-witted person from knowing it, that is one way. Or to exclude the possibility that the teacher may consider him a Manda Buddhi. That way also we can say, Manda Buddhi Grahana. The teacher may understand that this fellow is a Manda Buddhi. Both ways you can interpret it. Because Manda Buddhi Grahana Vyapohartham, it can mean both ways. That is, he told such paradoxical statement to exclude the Manda Buddhis, to exclude, the Manda Buddhis means these dull-witted people, or to exclude the possibility that the teacher might consider him a Manda Buddhi. So, both ways you can say that. Then, tathacha garjitam upapannam bhavati.
Tathacha garjitam upapannam bhavati.
Yonas tadveda tadveda iti.
Yonas tadveda tadveda iti.
So, tathacha. So, therefore, garjitam upapannam bhavati. So, whatever has been firmly told by the student, garjitam does not mean roaring, whatever has been told very firmly by the student, that firmness, upapannam bhavati, garjitam, that firmness, upapannam bhavati, it stands justified, it is appropriate. Upapatti, we know, upapatti is understanding, justification also. Upapatti is, that is appropriate. Garjitam upapannam bhavati. Yonas tadveda tadveda iti. So this student saying Yonas tadveda tadveda, okay, he among us all who understands what I say, he knows Brahma. So he told in a very, very firm manner, isn't it? So that becomes justified. That becomes justified. So that's the mantra. Then we'll go to the next mantra. You followed this line?
Yes.
this earlier line. The language is slightly paradoxical, we have to slowly understand it. The next mantra also is like that. So now, Shishyacharya Samvadat
शिष्याचार्य संवादात्
Pratinivruttya
प्रतिनिवृत्य
Svena Rupena Shrutihi
स्वेन रूपेण श्रुतिः
Samasta Samvada Nirvruttam Arthameva
समस्त संवाद निर्वृत्तम अर्थमेव
Bodhayati
बोधयति
Yasya Amatam Ityadina.
यस्य अमतम इत्यादिना.
Okay, now the Shruti. Now Shankaracharya is commenting. Hitherto we have seen the first mantra and second mantra, we have seen some sort of conversation between the two teacher and the student. Now it is the Shruti's statement. It is an observation by the Shruti itself. Shruti, it is withdrawing from the Shishyacharya Samvada. It is coming out of the Shishyacharya Samvada. Shishyacharya Samvadat, that is from this conversation of the Shishya and Acharya, Pratinivruttya. Pratinivrutti means withdrawing. It is coming away from this Shishyacharya Samvada, Svena Rupena, by itself or in its own words. In its own words, the Shruti is saying like this. In its own words, Svena Rupena, on its own, let us say. On its own, the Svena Rupena, on its own, Shruti is saying like this. Samasta Samvada Nirvruttam Arthameva Bodhayati. Samasta Samvada Nirvruttam. So whatever is the essence of what all discussion has taken place hitherto. So Samasta Samvada, there is a discussion, there is a Samvada. Samvada Nirvruttam, what is the essence, what has been derived from that Samvada? What is the essence of that Samvada? That essence, Nirvruttam Artham, what has been derived Artham, that meaning, that eva bodhayati, that particular meaning is told, Yasya Amatam Ityadina. So by these words, Yasya Amatam, etc., etc. So let us read this mantra. Yasya Amatam Tasya Matam
यस्यामतं तस्य मतं
Matam Yasya Navedasaha
मतं यस्य न वेदसः
Avijñatam Vijanatam
अविज्ञातं विजानतां
Vijñatam Avijanatam.
विज्ञातं अविजानतां.
So this again is a similar statement what we saw earlier, a slightly paradoxical statement, that is Yasya Amatam. For the literal meaning I will say first, then how to fill additional words in order to understand the paradox, I will say. First, it is a paradoxical statement. He who it is known to him, it is known to him to whom it is unknown. Yasya Amatam. For one, it is for whom it is unknown, it is known. Or rather, he knows who knows not. He knows not who knows. So that is it. He knows not who knows. Yasya Amatam Tasya Matam. Yasya Amatam. That is, literal meaning I will say, Amatam. Amatam means that which is not known. The very word Matam, let us understand first. You know the word Manu Dhatu. Manye, Manyase, Manyate. You know that word Manu Dhatu means Manye, to think, to understand, to think, Man. There is a Kata Pratyaya, Kata. For example, Kru Dhatu is there. Then you add that Kata Pratyaya, it becomes Kruta, Krutam. That is, you have done some karma with that verb Kru. By doing that word, by doing some action, by doing some karma or action with that verb Kru, you have achieved something, that is Kruta, it has been done. Say suppose you say bhungte, that root is there. For that you say Kta Pratyaya, Bhukta, it becomes eaten. So you have achieved something by doing a karma with that root. So you have added. So here also this Manu Dhatu, this you have used this word Kta, it becomes Matam. The Manu Dhatu, what is the meaning of Manu Dhatu? To know, isn't it? To know, to understand, to try to conceptualize, all these things, isn't it? Manaha is Sankalpa Vikalpatmakam Manaha. We should remember that also. Sankalpa, Vikalpa, all these things is the realm of the mind. So that Mana plus Kata becomes Mata, Matam. So that which has been conceptualized, that which has been intellectually known, that which has been known at the mind level, so that is what is called matam. So all matams, if you can, in fact, you can also refer it to, you can also take into consideration various religious doctrines also. A religious doctrine is something which is conceived by the mind, isn't it? It is something which is conceptualized, it is conceived by the mind. That is what is matam. It is something which is manudhatu. You do some karma with that manudhatu, and then by that karma, through that karma or action, you have achieved something, you have known something, you have said that thing is called matam, isn't it? Amatam means something which has not been known like this. Yasya amatam. One who is keeping away from all this, he is matam. So yasya amatam tasya matam. One who does not know knows. Yasya amatam tasya matam. For him it is known. Yasya amatam. One who does not know knows. Then matam yasya. Matam yasya means one who has conceived something by his mind, one who has thought of a huge document, a huge grantham he has written, one huge book he has written, one something who has conceptualized about the nature of the Brahman. So matam yasya, one who knows something with the help of his mind, one who knows or understands something with the help of his mind, na veda saha, he does not know. One who has not done any sort of thinking or any sort of conceptualization, he knows. Whereas matam yasya na veda saha, one who has understood something, one who has known something or conceptualized something, he does not know. Then the second line is more complicated. Avijñātam vijānatam vijñātam avijānatam. This is again a paradoxical statement which Shankaracharya himself has interpreted in two ways. So that is two ways means, so there are two parts in this. Avijñā, like the first sentence also is in two parts, isn't it? First sentence is in two parts. First it is talking about someone who does not know. One who does not know knows. So that is the first part. One who knows not, isn't it?
Yes.
So there are two parts in the first line. The second line is in fact substantiating. It is reaffirming the same thing in slightly different words. So that is again, there are two parts in that. Avijñātam vijānatam. Vijñātam avijānatam is another statement. Avijñātam vijānatam means avijñātam, it is not known. Vijānatam, for those who think they know. So I am interpreting it in the sequence of the words. Shankaracharya interprets in two different ways. One is in the sequence of words and one is in the reverse sequence of words. But the meaning does not change. Meaning is same. Because it is a paradoxical thing, the meaning does not change. We have to substitute proper words for that. So avijñātam vijānatam, that is, it is not known to someone who says who says he knows it. Avijñātam vijānatam, for those who say that they know. The literal meaning is something different. Literal meaning is avijñātam vijānatam means it is not known to one who knows. Then vijñātam avijānatam, it is known to someone who does not know. That is the literal meaning. So I am substituting some words by saying avijñātam vijānatam means it is not known to someone who thinks he does not know. I think you are sufficiently confused. Is it confusing? Huh? Chalta hai.
Even earlier mantra also.
Huh?
Earlier mantra also same thing.
It is like this. You have to listen to it twice, thrice, maybe the same say video. You have to listen to it again, and then you have to think about it. Then only you will understand. Because this Shankara Bhashyam also, he first goes by the reverse order of this line, interpreting this line. So that again, it is very difficult to understand at the first sight. You have to see what he is going to say at the end, you have to go till the end and then you have to see. So anyway, I will again explain. So avijñātam vijānatam. Avijñātam means it is not known. Vijānatam means for those who know. That is the literal meaning. But what I am substituting is, avijñātam I am not substituting anything. Vijānatam means for those who think who know. It is not known to those who think, who know. That is what I have substituted. Then Vijñātam Avijānatam. Vijñātam, it is well known. Literal meaning is like this. Vijñātam means it is well known. Avijānatam, to those who do not know. I will substitute the words. Vijñātam, it is well known. I am not substituting anything. Avijānatam, here I am substituting who think they do not know. Is it clear? For those who think they do not know, it is known. For those who think they know, it is unknown. So this is one way of interpreting. Shankaracharya is interpreting in the reverse order also. That we will see in the Bhashyam. If I say now itself, you will be totally confused. When we read the Bhashyam, I will say that, because he is interpreting Vijanatam Avijñātam. So he is interpreting in the reverse order. Of course, the meaning does not change. Anyway, let us see the Bhashyam. So literally, the literal meaning of this mantra, have you understood? The first line is Yasya Amatam Tasya Matam. One who has no idea, no concept, no conceptualization. One who has not objectified. So that is the meaning. Yasya Amatam. Matam means you have objectified. Matam means you have objectified. You have known it by the mind. So Amatam, you have not known it by the mind. You have not objectified. You have not made it an object of knowledge. So Yasya Amatam Tasya Matam. He knows it. So Matam word is used in the ordinary sense in the second word. Then Matam Yasya, one who conceptualizes something, one who writes a huge book saying that, oh, this is my huge Grandham. This is what is my religion, etc., etc. All this code of various things about heaven, hell, etc. That is again conceptualization. Yasya Matam, Matam Yasya na Vedasaha. He doesn't know, because he has again objectified it. He has made it a Parichinna. He has made it delimited. Then Avijñātam Vijānatam, Vijñātam Avijānatam. I just explained it. So let us see the Bhashyam. Yasya Brahmavidaha
Yasya Brahmavidaha
Amatam Avijñātam
Amatam Avijñātam
Aviditam Brahma iti
Aviditam Brahma iti
Matam Abhiprayaha Nishchayaha
Matam Abhiprayaha Nishchayaha
Tasya Matam Jñātam Samyak Brahma ityabhiprayaha.
Jñātam Samyak Brahma ityabhiprayaha.
So here we are talking about the real seeker of Brahma. Shankaracharya says that the Shruti is not talking about some sort of man on the street. It is not talking about some ordinary man who does not know about Brahma. We are just not bothered about him at all, because the common man has absolutely no idea of Brahman. Even educated people, they may have some idea of Rama, Krishna, etc., but then they may have a vague idea that there is something called Brahman in the Upanishads. That's all. Beyond that, when you say Brahma, they will think of the four-headed Brahma, whose wife is Saraswati, etc., and who is the creator Brahma, who is one among the three, Brahma, Vishnu, Maheshwaras. So that is the meaning of Brahma, even for an educated man. So we are not talking about all those people. We are talking about Brahmavidaha. So for this word Yasya Matam, Shankaracharya is saying Yasya means Brahmavidaha. So we are not talking about the common man. You are making a categorization between two groups of Brahmavidaha. There are Brahmavidaha. Those who are talking about Brahma, there are two types. Shruti is categorizing into two. That is, Yasya Brahmavidaha Amatam Avijñātam. Amatam means Avijñātam. That is, Amatam, that is something which is a view that it is something which cannot be conceptualized by the mind. That is what is the meaning of Amatam. You can also note down if you want. Amatam, the view that it cannot be known or conceptualized by the mind as an object of knowledge. So that is it. Yasya Amatam, that is Avijñātam, something which is not known. Avijñātam is not known. Aviditam Brahma iti Matam. Aviditam Brahma. That is, he thinks that I do not know Brahma. Matam. Matam means Abhiprayaha Nishchayaha. Yasya Amatam Tasya Matam. Matam means Abhiprayaha Nishchayaha. Matam is used in two different meanings. Yasya Amatam, the meaning is different. Then Matam meaning is different. Matam means abhiprayah. In the first thing, yasya amatam means one who has not conceptualized anything, one who has not known it as an object of knowledge. So that is the meaning of matam, amatam there. So one who holds the view that the Brahman is something which is not known by the body-mind complex, or one who knows that it is not an object of knowledge, so that is, he thinks that it is avijñātam, aviditam Brahma, it is not known by all these things, then for him it is matam, abhiprayah, nishchayah, tasya matam jñātam samyak Brahma iti abhiprayah, yasya amatam, tasya matam. That is, tasya jñātam. Matam means jñātam Brahma. Samyak jñātam samyak Brahma ityabhiprayah. He knows Brahman samyak. Samyak means well. So this is the first pada of this mantra. Yasya matam tasya matam. This is the first pada. For this first pada, this is the meaning. Is it clear?
Yes.
Should I repeat? No, not necessary. Okay, one who knows that it cannot be objectified, he knows it. Yasya matam tasya matam. Then yasya punaha
यस्य पुनः
matam jñātam viditam
मतं ज्ञातं
viditam maya brahma iti nishchayah
मतं ज्ञातं विदितं मया ब्रह्म इति निश्चयः
na vedaiva saha
न वेदैव सः
na brahma vijanati
न ब्रह्म
vijanati saha.
सः.
Okay. So the second part, matam yasya na vedasaha, is being told. Matam yasya na vedasaha. Matam yasya, one who thinks that he knows, he does not know. That is, yasya punaha. Yasya punaha means on the other hand. Something like tu. Yasya punaha. On the other hand, matam jñātam viditam maya brahma iti nishchayah. One who thinks, oh, I know this Brahma. I have objectified it. I know it. I have written a huge volume about it. One who has made it an object of knowledge. So that is matam. Matam jñātam viditam maya brahma iti nishchayah. One who has affirmed you that I know Brahman. So such a man, na veda eva saha, na veda eva. That is, he does not know at all. Na veda eva. Veda plus eva. Na veda eva means he does not know at all. He na veda eva saha, na Brahma vijanati saha. He does not know Brahma. So this is the first line. So let us come to the second line. The second line is slightly more complicated. As I said, it is interpreted by Shankaracharya in the reverse order first. And then at the end of that line, he goes to the sequence of words. It is interpreted in the sequence, same sequence, or in the reverse sequence. So in the very first interpretation is reverse sequence. That is, vijanatam avijñātam. The sentence is avijñātam vijanatam. That is the sentence. It is a full sentence. So Shankaracharya is first interpreting it from the reverse side. Vijanatam avijñātam. So that is what he says. Let us see. Vidvad avidushoho
विद्वत् अविदिशोः
yathoktau pakshau
यथोक्तौ पक्षौ
avadharayati
अवधारयति
avijñātam vijanatam iti.
अविज्ञातं विजानताम् इति.
Iti. Okay. Vidvad avidushoho yathoktau pakshau. So yathoktau means the two things which have been told above. Yatha uktau pakshau. The two say paksha. Paksha means the 2 points of view. Paksha is actually a point of view. The two views which have been told above. What is that? Vidvad avidushoho. There is a vidvat paksha, there is an avidvat paksha. Vidvat paksha means one who knows Brahman, avidvat means one who does not know Brahman. These two pakshas, these 2 points of view, they avadharayati. The Shruti. Shruti hi avadharayati. Shruti is affirming. Shruti is very, say it is establishing or affirming, let us say. Avadharayati means the Shruti affirms and says, avijñātam vijanatam iti. Shruti is affirming. Avijñātam vijanatam. It is affirming. What does it mean? Vijanatam avijñātam. That is how we have to say. Avijñātam
अविज्ञातं
amatam
अमतं
aviditameva brahma
अविदितमेव ब्रह्म
vijanatam
विजानतां
samyag viditavatam ityetat.
सम्यक् विदितवताम् इत्येतत्.
So let us come to the second part of this line. Vijanatam samyag viditavatam. Let us see. Vijanatam means for those who know quite well. For those who know quite well, avijñātam aviditam eva brahma. That is, they think. I am substituting these words, they think. You have to know, you can note down also. The first meaning is the interpretation by Shankaracharya, he is doing it in the reverse order. That is, for the words avijñātam vijanatam, he is starting with vijanatam avijñātam. That is, vijanatam for those who really know, samyak darshanavatam. Not darshanavatam, samyak viditavatam. For those who know Brahman quite fully well, avijñātam, he thinks that he does not know. Avijñātam, he thinks. Maya avijñātam Brahma. That is what he thinks. Avijñātam, amatam, aviditam eva Brahma. That is, he thinks that Brahma is avijñātam. He thinks that Brahma is aviditam. Brahma is amatam. So that is what he thinks. But then they are the people who are vijanatam. For the vijanata, samyak viditavatam ityetat. Have you followed?
Yes.
There are two ways of interpreting this line. Avijñātam vijanatam. So when you say avijñātam vijanatam, it is not known. Vijanatam, for those who claim to know. That is one way. For the word vijanatam, for those who claim to know. The other way of interpreting is vijanatam, for those who really know, avijñātam. They think that it is avijñātam. They say that it is avijñātam. So Shankaracharya is interpreting it from the second point of view which I just said. So samyak vijanatam, samyak viditavatam. For those who know quite well, it is avijñātam. They think that it is amatam. Amatam, it is avijñātam, aviditam eva Brahma. Then, is it clear?
Yes.
Vijñātam viditam Brahma.
Vijñātam viditam Brahma.
So in fact, in order to avoid confusion, you can put that word avijñātam in inverted commas. Avijñātam, amatam, aviditam Brahma.
Yes.
You can put that in inverted commas so that, and you can also note down, that is what he thinks. That is what he thinks. Vijanatam, samyak, for a person who knows, he says, or that is what he claims rather. That is what he claims. He says, it is not known. Avijñātam, amatam, that is what he claims. Then vijñātam, this vijñātam also, you can put it in inverted commas. So that is what he claims, vijñātam. Vijñātam viditam Brahma.
Vijñātam viditam Brahma.
That is what they claim. Who? Avijanatam. Avijanatam.
Avijanatam.
Asamyak darshinam.
Asamyak darshinam.
Indriya manobuddhishveva.
Indriya manobuddhishveva.
Atma darshinam ityarthaha.
Atma darshinam ityarthaha.
Okay. Natu.
Natu.
Atyantameva.
Atyantameva.
Avyutpanna buddhinam.
Avyutpanna buddhinam.
Okay. So, vijñātam viditam Brahma. This is what this fellow thinks. This man thinks, vijñātam viditam Brahma. I know this Brahma is known to me. Iti, or who thinks like that? Avijanatam. Avijanatam is asamyak darshinam. He is an asamyak darshi. This asamyak darshi, on the other hand, thinks this is vijñātam. So, this vijñātam you can put it in inverted commas so that you will not have any confusion. Because it is contradicting what Shankaracharya is saying is in the reverse order. It is contradicting the literal meaning of that particular line. Literal meaning, you have to substitute some words in order to understand the paradox. We have to understand it first. A paradoxical statement, on the face of it, it has no meaning. You have to understand it by substituting a couple of words. So that is what he is doing. So, vijñātam viditam Brahma vijñātam. Vijñātam, one who thinks that I know Brahma. He is somebody, he is asamyak darshi, he is avijanan, a person who does not know. For those avijanatam, asamyak darshanam, this is what they claim. Then, to substantiate that, he is saying, who are they? Who are all those people? Who are those asamyak darshis? Who they are? Indriya manobuddhishveva atma darshinam ityarthaha. So they think that Indriya is Brahma, this Manas is Brahma, Buddhi is Brahma. Indriya Mano Buddhishveva Atmadarsinam. So they are the people who think that whatever is ascertained by this Indriya Mano Buddhi, so at that we have seen that Adhyatma level we have seen Yadasyatvam Yadasya Deveshu. So at that thing, Yadasyatvam, at this Adhyatma level, they think that this whatever they know at this Adhyatma level, that is Brahma. So that is the point here. Indriya Mano Buddhishu Eva. In those things, in these sense organs, in the mind and in the intellect, they see that Atma, Atmadarshi. They think that that is the Atma, Atmadarshinam ityarthaha. Natu atyantameva avyutpanna buddhinam. Avyutpanna buddhi, somebody who is just not, mature. Vyutpanna is mature buddhi. Vyutpatti, unevolved. Vyutpatti, in fact, you say Vyutpatti artham, we say Vyutpatti artham, how this thing has originated, how this thing has evolved. Avyutpanna buddhi means who are immature people. The simple word is immature people. Avyutpanna is dull-witted people. There is another, what is the meaning? Avyutpanna. Okay, you can say dull-witted people. In fact, there is a meaning for this word Vyutpatti. What is Vyutpatti? Vyutpatti means the ability to understand a thing, anything. That is, you are a mature person. Suppose a very mature person is there. You pose a problem before him. So though this problem is totally new to him, he will interact, he will handle it in a mature way. He will arrive at a very mature conclusion. So that is Vyutpatti. Avyutpannamati, somebody who is immature. So he knows only what has been taught. So that is why for this Vyutpatti, there is some Alankara Shastra, somebody has written, Kanama Vyutpattihi. What is this Vyutpatti? Pathita Pathiteshu Tulya Rupatvam. They said, Pathita Apatiteshu Tulya Rupatvam. That is, if you already know something has been taught to you already, then naturally you know. Something which is apathitam, a new subject, something which is presented to you newly, even in that you show equal expertise. Pathita apatiteshu tulya rupatvam. So that is maturity. So somebody has defined in Alankara Shastra, Kanama Vyutpattihi, Pathita apatiteshu tulya rupatvam. So here we are talking about immature minds. So here what Shankaracharya says, we are talking about two types of people. Both the people are sincere seekers of Brahma, sincere students of Vedanta. But somebody has understood it wrongly, somebody has understood rightly. We are not talking about Avyutpanna Buddhi. We are not talking about the man on the street who have absolutely no idea of Brahma, who have absolutely no idea of anything. So that is what is the meaning here. So we will continue in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi.